Rabbi Unsdorpher, who I got to know more than 8 years ago, working on the Lakewood Eruv, and we worked together in the trenches for hours and hours, for weeks, over a summer. For those of you who don't know, Lakewood is a political hotbed when it comes to eruvin, but the first time I spoke to Rav Unsdorpher, and I told him that I need a hashgacha on an eruv. So he said, no problem. We're going to come check the eruv, going to make sure the eruv is put up properly, and we're going to give you an hashgacha. What's the problem? We do what we're supposed to do. If we need to put up an eruv, we're going to put up an eruv. No, nothing. In Lakewood, before you have to put up an eruv, oh, what is this one going to say? What is that one going to say? So all these things, all these cheshbonos that people make, Rav Unsdorpher went straight to the point and said, we do what the halacha says, and we're going to make an eruv. So, Rav Unsdorpher, please be in Smahana.
It's a big honor and a big schia to be able to participate and to learn a little bit and to have a shaykhis. The whole tachlis van eruvin is in van achdes, in van bringing together. And this is a gewaldige schia. I just met the Chushev asking and the Chushev Rabbi Abasana that facilitated this whole movement and this whole gewaldige tikkun. We find in Chazal that the whole mitzvah of eruvin is called tikkun eruvin, and this is what I want to base my shmis about. I'm not here to paskan haluchas or anything. I'm sure that everybody has their own ways and their own, but a little bit from our experience. But what we know that the Chazal call it tikkun eruvin. This is what we see in Chazal. This is what we see in the Rishonim and the Achronim. Dinifin tikkun eruvin, and a lot of tikkunim is needed. A lot of tikkunim is, and this whole conference and this whole gathering and this whole, it's not only the moment of this 1 or 2 days that is going in so much koiches to bring this together. It's much bigger than this. Is very a huge and a new and unique gewaldige chizik, and that is so important, and it's something that we never know how much people, because everybody that's involved in eruvin knows the gewaldige schia and the gewaldige mitzvah and the hashpuas, what me, myself, and everybody around me. I see over here Rabbi Avrum Weiss from Borough Park today in Lakewood, that he is the Rosh Vedishin by us in our big city of Borough Park. He was the one that built the Eruv, and he is the one that has the whole schis of the Eruv, and he can also vouch and knows, and I'm sure everybody that is involved in Eruv knows personally people that were helped. So, by tzaddikim, there was a saying that if you help someone carry, so you can also carry. That means people that needed yeshia and kids. How much yeshias? I'm only one person. How much people I know that were helped, and this is stories that everybody knows, and people that know from tzaddikim from before. How many people had yeshias? We saw this and right in the beginning of the area by us in Borough Park, we had many stories, and one story was with the mechanic on Avenue C, that he let put the Eruv on his property, and he asked for a brocha. We were going around, it said the hell Eruv, he's the hashgacha on the Eruv, he the one that made the Eruv, and he gave reshus to put the Eruv, and he says he needs a yeshia, he needs a brocha for a kid. 9 months later, he came out and he found us when we came to check the Eruv. To thank Hashem that helped. The mitzvah von eruvin, the gewaltige chashivas was hyped of them Shabbos, that it lifts up them Shabbos, that it brings in the real v'karusul Shabbos oineg. This is what it makes. This is what we see. This is what we see in the Rishonim. What the Eruv is meant for, to bring in Kedusha Shabbos, and Kedusha Shabbos means being uplifted and being der Heuben in Yiddish, you say, uplifted and calm, and bringing in the Shabbos, the Riech from Shabbos, what it brings in a shtib, in a home, what the Shabbos has to. And without the Eruv, and unfortunately in today's days, especially when there's so much hardship, emotional hardship, and what this does for a community that is an Eruv, and I'm pretty sure that I'm just came in now, and I'm pretty sure this is the tone, and this is everybody, the Aleph base that we know, that we talk about eruvin. Maybe I'll just start with a shtickle Indian. I came in here like late. I just come in now, and I was so I repeat like a little bediches. As I used to say, it was a big magid that used to go around in state, and everybody knew when this magid comes in the shtut, this magid comes into the town, everybody comes to listen to the drusha. Gewaltige magid, and was mamish. And it was said this Shabbos afternoon, this magid is here, this Shabbos afternoon, 4 o'clock is going to be a big drusha. Okay, of course, everybody's coming to the magid and to hear the drusha, but it happens to be this fellow. He fell asleep. He fell asleep, and he comes running to the drusha. He comes 4:15. Comes in late. Okay, he listens. He comes late, and a big drusha, and he comes in, and he has something that he wants to ask, because something is not exactly what he doesn't understand. So stimmt nicht etwas what he says. So he says, I can't ask because I just came in. I don't know what was said before. I mean, so I can't assume kasha. I can't have a kasha now because we don't know what happened before. So okay. So he listens. Happens to be he woke up late. He missed mincha, so he has to go out early. So he has to go out early. He has to find the mincha. So he has to go out in the middle of the drusha. So he can't finish the drusha. So he's thinking to himself, oh, I have so much kashas over here, but I came in late. I'm going out, and I can't have kashas. I don't know what the beginning. What he used to say, like in Misahask, like a person should know. You come in, trip of the Welt, and you have kashas. Why Hashem does this? Why Hashem does that? We can't have kashas. Hashem has His ways, and we can't have kashas. I came in here without knowing exactly, but I'm figured, that I don't have any chedishim what to add. I'm sure people with much more experience and much more knowledge than me, but I'm besmerish b'lichidish, just to say a little bit of our experience and our what we know, what we went through, to be able to help out in Eruv and have the gewaltige schia to be oisik in this mitzvah. Tikkun Eruv is the gewaltige tikkun. We see a few things what Tikkun Eruv is. Tikkun Eruv is bepashtus how Chazal, what we see, tikkun that we shouldn't carry without an Eruv. So it's a gewaltige tikkun that should be able to carry. First of all, we see that tikkun, what's the type of tikkun? A correction. That means we have a shtickle, not something is not. We have to correct it. We have to correct it. So it looks like the mitzvah is, and we need to correct things, because the correct way is that we should be able to carry. We should be able to. So also what we find in this in the Zohar and in the Chidu and the Shluach Kodesh, gewaltige in Yunim of, as we spoke about the Indian from Ardis, we find I think this is the Rambam, maybe, I'm not sure, we have to look it up. The Rambam is also something like that. The tikkun of an eruvin is to make everything Rishis HaYuchid. Akapun, this is what we see in the Sfurim HaKadoshim, that we make from a Rishis HaRab, a Rishis HaYuchid, we make a Rishis HaYuchid, but this is Kedisha, Tahara, this is something that we had a schiyah to be very close with. It was probably anybody that is oisik in eruvin heard about Rabbi Fischl Heshkevich. Fischl Heshkevich was the Halain Eruv. He was the Gudel by in our circle, wie man sagt, in our in Borough Park, Williamsburg, in the Chareidische Welt. And he was like the Gudel Poisik Achner, wie man sagt. He wasn't in Satmar, but even Satmar. We had to ask a serious shaila, serious sigya. He was the address to be able to Yidus with the Kolatoy killer was by him. He remembered the Rishonim on delusion. Mamash Chis with the Oived Hashem that he was a gewaltige Guan Oilem given. He was always busy with this Indian, the tikkun item. What is the tikkun of bringing the Indian from Tahara and Kedisha, and the Indian from Ardis, what it means. You have to live in a certain dargah to be able to feel this and to see this, but we have to at least know that there's such a concept and that this is mashpia. And definitely whoever is oisik in the mitzvah knows the effect and knows what this brings to a community that has an eruv, that how many people were saved and how much shtibe, how much homes were saved by the Indian fin the Indian fin eruvin, what the gewaltige tikkun. We're talking about what's meant to tikkun. You know, I remember when we made the eruvin Borough Park, Rabbi Weisswil has a neighbor, Rabbi Reich, he's oisik in Kirev, Yosef in Kirev and Balachivas. I remember he said, Rabbi Reich said that he's one thing he can't poil os, he can't he can't make it happen that people should. The hardest thing to happen, so many things he can be mashpia on homes. But the Indian not carrying Shabbos, not to go out Shabbos, this is something such a looks like maybe we're allowed to say that there's one before Mashiach Zeiten. You know, in Bashem HaKodesh said Bezam, Tizagud Bezam. Bezam is Mikfues and eruvin and Zvicha. We see what the Klippe and the Yetzer Hara just tries to bring down the Indian. So we need a lot of Mesiras Nefesh to be able to be Mekam the Mitzvah B'Shleimus. So the Indian fin Desas Mashpia is to get I'll just remember some Siyata Deshmaya. We're talking about. I'm sure I'm not. Everybody has these stories, but from our experience of what we went through, so we know from people that had. Very interesting that I helped out in Austria and Vienna. We made an eruv over there, and it was a long time, a few years that used to go and used to see how we can do this. It was like impossible. The way Austria is built and everything is very, very strict, extremely, like yakish. You can't do anything there. Happens to be from the unorthodox Kehille, it's called the Kurzesgemeinde. If it's familiar, this is they're still not mekiriv to Yiddishkeit too much, but Mr. Hashem. But the president from that Kurzesgemeinde, this is the Freie Yidden in Austria. They have the Kehille, and this is like Usa to go into their besmedrish, even such a mamish gefährliche. Happens to be this president. His name is Musikant, and he had a son that became a Balchiva. He came here to America. I think he learned in YU, maybe. I don't remember how this happened. He lived in Manhattan, about Shiva, and this muzikant, he is a huge oishe. He was Mekirev Malchis, and everything was open for him. He was like the biggest with all the politicians, a huge oishe. And okay, his son became a Baal Shiva, and he wants his son to come live in Austria. So the son tells him, Shabbos and kashrus, everything you need. I can't. So he heard that the person that was oisik in there, because many times we tried to talk to this president, Mr. Muzikant, that he should help out. The Kehillah needs an Eruv, and it was like, what do they care? Eruv, they don't nothing to talk about. But now he has a son that he wants him to come to Austria. So the person that was asking, that had the schia to make the Eruv, his name is Shlomo Kaden. So Shlomo Kaden gets a phone call from Muzikant. I have to talk to you. I have a son. He's telling him that he wants to know what's involved over here with the Eruv. What's going on? He knows he has a project a few years. He's talking about it, and so I came to Austria. When I came there, I used to make meetings and see what we can do, but there was nothing to talk about. And now he wants an Eruv. He wants to see what we can do. Now it starts the real hard part, to see the halacha part, because when we make an Eruv, we want to make it on the highest standard, and this is what we we came from Borough Park, and from the Kabbalah that have from my Rebbes, and from my we have the Sedler Eruv, he's the most strict and everything. Mamash the Ovid Hashem and such a gewaltige Shemaim Merim, and we always go with the highest standard. So I want to apply the highest standard for Austria, also for Vienna, to make this type of Eruv in such an environment that everything has to be done with the highest level of professionalism and bureaucracy. Mamash, impossible. But what happened was, we're talking about the Inyan Tikkun Eruvin, what this is Mashpia, and this is Mashpia eins of zweiten, that he had a son, this is one Baal Shiva, and he needs an Eruv. This caused that he should become involved, and not only he should become involved in probably the most mehidisdikste Eruv in the world, and the most expensive Eruv in the world. Mamish, the hardest Eruv probably. I was involved in many places. I'm not sure. Everybody has their own experience. At the time, then, years ago, it was over €1 million to put up the Eruv. Why? Because it had to be done to those companies are that build the bridges for the city, and you can't change anything, and you can't do anything. And this was very, very... So, as we're talking, Siyata Deshmai, was the Schiz, as eine was that we can't, eine was vet about Shiva was mashpia noch arim and arim. You can't imagine how much what domino effect this had on the whole Kehillah and everything around. But another Siyata Deshmaya, very interesting Siyata Deshmaya with that Eruv, as we need to put up the Eruv, so we need to go through one of the plans that we made, that's to use the trains. The trains over there are certain levels in trains. Most of the trains inside Vienna is local trains, like from Vienna, but the big trains are from OBB. It's called OBB. They call it the IBB, whatever. And this is not a local thing. This is like an international company, a huge company, whole Europe. And we need to make connection with them. And okay, so what do? We try to get someone from the OBB, and the OBB had the engineer an older person, a person that is, and they put forward that there's some type of project they're trying to do, and it came into a meeting by them, and they were asking who can look into it, to this project. Religious people, they have something, Eruv, or whatever. One of the biggest in the OBB was someone Skrovenek, and he says, yeah, let me look into this. He took this project as if he is his Eruv, it's his Schir, Mamish was the story. So one day he tells us the story, what's going on, what is this all about? Mamish, he took us into the hardest places. He took us into, and he did everything that was needed for the Eruv, and that's how they made the Eruv. What the story was, that he had a grandmother, that his grandmother was a Shabbos goy for a Yiddish mishpocha, and this is before the Milchama. And b'shas the Milchama, they treat the Shabbos goy with respect and with in the right way. When it came to the Milchama, when it came to the war, they hid that there's Yiddish mishpocha, that they were in that building or whatever it was, that they were helping to be there. Shabbos goy, they were close to them, and they took them in and they hid them. They hid them and they saved the family throughout the war. After the war, this family moved, the Yiddish family moved to the States, moved to America. And those people over there, I'm not sure even where this was, someplace in Europe, I'm not sure where. The family from America, they were living in New York, they were bekesher with the goyish mishpocha from the Shabbos goy. The mishpocha sent them, they were very poor. I'm not sure which, it was in Poland or Hungary, I'm not sure where, or Ukraine, I'm not sure, I don't remember. They used to send money now and then because they saved their life. They took on themselves, these people that they saved, the Yidden, sent money to this mishpocha. The rest of the story is history. He knew this. He knew what was meant a Yid, what this meant. Sometimes, we have to think about how we deal with things, and especially when we oisik in eruvin, we have to be able to talk and to get through to people that are not from our kehillah, from our circle, goyim that don't know anything about this. You always used to say, when the goy says, yeah, yes, you can do it, I have a kasha. Why should I let some shigas? Well, what is this? So we have to be able to be careful. Rav Weiss will also, the story that we had, Rav Weiss will know this. I used to go with Rav. We used to go knocking on the doors in Borough Park. The way Borough Park Eruv is built, by Mechitzas Habatim. Mechitzas Habatim, this is, we have the blocks, and especially in Borough Park in the city, you have blocks, closed blocks. We just have to close with Siyas HaPesach, the streets and the avenue around, and everything is closed. So we want to take in every Yid. And so what do? We have to go outside of the Yiddish, so we have to go to the Goyim. One side of Borough Park is Chinese. This is 8th Avenue. So Ravrum, maybe he should say the stories, but we had a lot of stories. One side Arabs, one side Italian, one side Chinese. Those Chinese, you couldn't talk even to them. Knock, knock, you come, you open the door, start talking. When you want to do, guy, you go explain to them. You want to start talking to them, boom, on your nose, the door, boom, nothing. So what happened was, everyone took out a few dollars, like this, and just, we knew how to deal with this already. Money talks, suddenly they talk English, suddenly they know everything, suddenly they... So so this is the Chachma von Rav Moshe, how he dealt mit seiner Gitzkeit, mit seiner gewaltige tiefe Neshama, how he was mashpia. We had this chiyuv that we had to ask like Rav Moshe that was able to get through to people. So this is what we learned. What this means, sometimes we have to, because we're in Gulis and we always have to deal with goyim and utility companies and or private properties. We had the most interesting things where we put the Eruv on. That is, we have places that we had to put the Eruv on sensitive places. Yes. We have rishis from churches. Churches we have throughout the years. Even now we have that we have to. We didn't make the Eruv from Atzah Yashayre, but we have to from property that is owned by the churches, and we had to deal with them. Many places that we had a lot of siyata d'shmaya that we different eruvin that we were involved. We had to get to establish some type of connection. I had the schia, as I mentioned before, to be very close with Rabbi Fischl Heshkevich. He was one of my, he was the gedolim that and I was once with Rabbi Fischl Heshkevich in the car. He was sitting in the front with other Rabbonim also in the car. And we had to figure out to do an Eruv in a very sensitive place. We didn't even know at the time how sensitive that place was. But as we were coming in and we were going in, suddenly a few cars, and it was like chaos, something happened. It wasn't the days after 9/11, and they come up to the car, and it was like a very serious scene. And what are you doing here? This is Homeland Security. And of course, we have to do what we have to do, and we had to see our ways out from those police and from those hidden Homeland Security. We didn't even know how sensitive that spot was, that we had to do something and what we do. But at the time, we had Baruch Hashem I had some type of experience that someone needed my help in an area, in a place that I helped out. That this person was the right hand. He worked for a senator, and he was a Heverman, and so he somehow we established a very good way how to get through to very sensitive places, extremely sensitive, especially in those days. It was very hard. We had to do tekin and we had to do tziyus pesach in places that it's impossible to get there, and so you do the right thing, and Hashem gives you siyata d'shmaya. And I'm sure that everybody has those stories that I'm saying my experience, what we had with siyata d'shmaya. Tikkun eruvin. One of the things that Tikkun eruvin, what the meaning of Tikkun eruvin is that we always need to be busy with tikkunim. It's not that we made an eruv and it's a tikkun, that's it, and we can go. This is one of the, always say that tikkun eruvin, this is a constant, and we have to always be on the lookout, and this is one of the hardest parts of being oisik in the midst of an eruvin. The first eruv that I was involved outside of Borough Park, I got a phone call from this place in Brooklyn that is called Seagate. Seagate is an enclosed place. Seagate is a place that is closed with walls. It's by the water one side. Seagate is a very beautiful place. The Eruv over there was made by Rav Moshe Zatzal. Rav Moshe Zachatzadik Levrucha was used to go there in the summers, and he was massacred an Eruv over there. Wasn't much to do. It was mechitzes, a few places that he had to make sure that it's good. There's a chiva from Rav Moshe about the Eruv in Seagate, and he mentions over there the gewaltige mechitzes that we have over there. And one side is the ocean, and shelter back the Eruv over there, gewaltige zach. So Rav Moshe actually writes in the chiva the mechitzes on what he's relying on, and this, and mechitzes by the water, and and he brings down the Gemara that you don't have to be a choishish on certain, and we did a gewaltige Eruv over there. It's takke. So I get a phone call from Rabbi Meisels, the Eruv in Seagate. He asked me he needs help, if I can come to Seagate. So I come over there. I come to Seagate. It was a heavy winter. Everyone will remember the stories, and they remember this winter of Tufshi and Samach, what winter this was, And so I come there, and Rabbi Meisels tells me he doesn't know what's going on by the water, something. This is a big problem over here. He doesn't know how to deal with this, and so he comes with me to the one side of Seagate is the water, and we come over there. And Shmenish the sea. He shows me that there used to be a wall over here. Used to be a wall, and the block used to go till here. Let's say over here used to be a seawall, and no more seawall. It was like a beach till the ocean. Used to be, I think he told me like 20 feet a wall down, like down here, the block ends here. And there's a wall, there used to be a wall, and on top of the wall used to be a gate. Now there's nothing there, there's a beach till the ocean. So, I don't know what do you mean? It doesn't look like anything like that. So we go further, go blocks here, blocks there, we check out what's going on. Happens to be what happened was that according to what they thought or whatever, they tried to figure out what this was, some type of scenario that the ocean brings sand in from different beaches or different places, and it was covered, simply it was covered. And we tried to look into it, we have to talk to the Army Engineering Corps, whatever it is, and then we have to what we did, we made a ticking eruvin over there, of course. We put up an eruv in this section of the water, this few blocks or what. We put up an eruv and this. What am I bringing this story? The eruv that is something in a place that is, I don't even know if they have to check it or not. We have to go and see what every eruv. This is a separate subject, how to check eruvin, how to put down dashgucha on eruvin. But that eruv in Seagate, I believe, is the most ausgehalten eruv that there's nothing what to check. And an eruv that was built by the Greste Tzaddik, to go talk about Rav Moshe, the Siyata de Shmai, the gewaltige Zitkis and Geoines von Rav Moshe, the poisig Achen, was gewähnt Rav Moshe. Aber what Hashem showed me that moment, that winter, that no matter how strong and how good the eruv is, no matter who built the eruv, there's nothing. You have to be able to check and be on top of it and to always be ready for takinim. This is what I learned from that story. And this is what we are always seeking. And this is exactly what we're trying to make sure that we have the siyata d'shmaya to do the right thing and to be able to check. So, what? A few minutes, 5 minutes. Very good. I can stop now. Yeah, okay. So, one important thing is to be able to have a sustainable area is to collect money. I'm just saying things that I'm sure that this is something that everybody. I'm just throwing out things that I. One of the first places that I was masakin area when I had a schir to be involved is in Canada, in Montreal. The first place was in uptown, then was in downtown, and today, Baruch Hashem, they have. So I was the one that that came down. Was Eruv, if everybody knows, but Rabbi Kitzog Nyman was the first. You know who this was? Huh? Yeah. So Rabbi Kitzog Nyman is from Eruv, from the Alte Dor, with gewaltige Talmud Chochem and a gewaltige Tzaddik. So I came down. And it was actually a cousin of mine that he was oisik in the Indian. So I came down, we made an eruv, we started an eruv. A few weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, he calls me up, this Rabbi Landau, that he's closing the eruv. I say, what's going on? There's no money. He doesn't have money to So there's no such thing closing the Eruv. Well, what are you talking about? This is the last, there's no such thing. Messias Nefesh for the Eruv. I mean, there's no such thing. Of course, he didn't listen to me. At the time, I was very, this is why I came down. I don't ask money for eruvin. I do it l'shem shamayim, and this is something that what do you mean closing the eruv? There's no such thing. He closed the eruv, and of course, from since then till now, this goes back 20 years. Who knows how long? They have a guitar eruv. How? Because they need money, and if you don't have money, it's impossible to have a kosher mehidedige eruv. You need money, and as chatua ani maske, my own. This is something that I can't help myself because I have my own. But this is something that I see that this is how important this is. If we don't have money, you don't have an eruv. Only if you have some mamash person that is Messias Nefesh, but it has to be a kehillah, it has to be a community, veggestellt that if someone steps out, there is money, there is achrayas, this is one of the things that we, that's a lot of things. One more thing about tikkun eruvin. About the level of we have this type of hadrocha that we went into eruvin, that we have to try to make the eruv the most mehide as possible. Of course, in a certain type of principles and certain type of that we were makabel from our rebbes, that everybody has their own ways how to deal with this. And what type of eruv you want to put down, the principles and the certain type of things that you want to establish, how the levels of, but an eruv must be. And we ourselves in Borough Park and many places that I was involved, we put down the eruv in a way that should be the most mehider and the most, and we try to establish and with Siyata Deshmaya, we can establish, we can accomplish that it should be a mehidige eruv, and with Siyata Deshmaya, with the oisig in this mitzvah from eruvin, as Hashem should give us Siyata Deshmaya. I want to thank again Rabbi Svein. And the official was at the gewaltige schie that thousands and thousands of Yidden have the schie to he's mezake so many Yidden and so many bekannte faces. Rabbi Zisha is here, Rabbi Stein is there, by Rabbi Vavrum this in the Zat without any this is a gewaltige schie for me just to be able to have a kesha even with people that have so much schism on the this schis is as we mentioned from Bashem HaKodesh in the schis von eruvin shetake zan the titzek uretz shetake bi the gewaltige yeshia and the schis that we mezake and we are uplifting them Shabbos, we bring in oinik Shabbos for people and we're uplifting the Kedisha Shabbos. We should see Zoichet to the Yom Shekila Shabbos with Mashiach.